Hi, how are we doing today? My name is Brendan Reviews, and well, Halloween's coming up soon, isn't it? Spooky season's coming up, and spooky season is one of my favorite times of the year. I mean, obviously, I'm making a whole fucking series about horror movies. And what time of the year is best for horror movies? Spooky season. Spooky season, it's perfect. I love this fucking season. And in terms of movie series that would be perfect for spooky season, well, you gotta think here. Spooky season, Halloween, October, November, all that stuff. It's not just meant for horror movies, right? It's also meant for, watching maybe some good old-fashioned Halloween-style movies. Movies that capture that feel of Halloween, feel of the joy of being out in the dark. And you know what? Out of any series that I can think of that is super fun, while at the same time, it can also be very scary, I'm thinking about the Evil Dead movies. I'm gonna go over these movies rather quickly, but one thing I want to get out right away is how much I love the Evil Dead movies. The Evil Dead movies are some of my favorite movies in horror cinema, in cinema just in general. For the love of God, I have an Army of Darkness poster just sitting right there. If that doesn't tell you how I feel about these movies, I don't know what will. Now, with any great series, it obviously started somewhere, and it started in 1982 with Sam Raimi. Yes, the same Sam Raimi who directed the Spider-Man trilogy, starring Tobey Maguire. Yes, that Sam Raimi. This Sam Raimi just so happened to create a trilogy of movies that focused on a principal character, Ash, and his fucking journey with the Deadites. Deadites being these demons that are resurrected through the powers of the Necronomicon, which just so happens to be the Book of the Dead. And guys, let me just tell you this, these movies are freaking fun, but we gotta start somewhere, so let's start with the original. As previously stated, it came out in 1982, and The Evil Dead. This is a movie that was made on a relatively low budget, but just so happened that New Line Cinema came along and distributed it to a whole bunch of theaters and everything. It's about 5 kids, 5 adolescents, 5 high school teenagers, 5 college students. I can't remember if they're college or high school students. They're going out into this cabin in the woods. This is the movie that started the cabin in the woods subgenre of movies. I mean, so when you go on Netflix or Amazon Prime and you see The Cabin in the Woods, that movie is a satire of movies that make fun, that are paying homage to this movie or taking the same plot point as this kind of movie. Basically, these 5 go into this house, and it's really rustic. It's really worn down. It's an old cabin. They happen to find the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead, and they listen to a translation of it. But by doing that, it awakens all of the demons, Deadites as they're called, in the woods. And they all start to get killed off one by one. They start to get possessed, and a whole bunch of weird shit starts to happen, including getting raped by a fucking tree. Unlike Evil Dead 2, and especially unlike Army of Darkness, The Evil Dead is a legitimately scary horror movie. It's a movie that focuses more on trying to get underneath your skin versus trying to make you laugh. There are a few moments in that movie that, you can laugh at, but none of it is really like how it is in Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness. Whereas in The Evil Dead, you're laughing at how disturbing some of the imagery is, and there are some legitimately good moments of gut wrench. You just feel like your guts are just being churned inside of you, especially during the scene when Ash's girlfriend gets stabbed in the back of the fucking ankle with a pencil. She starts driving the pencil into her skin. I'm sorry, I can't do that shit. That shit is fucked up. Even though it's just a pencil in an ankle, I can't do it. I just imagine it grinding against the bone, and I'm like, too much for me, man. The movie has some great special effects towards the end when all the demons start to melt and Ash all of a sudden becomes this big hero that we will eventually know him to be as the series progresses. Ash is very subdued in this movie. He's not the smart-ass character we know him to be. He's not very funny. As a matter of fact, he's actually the one that kind of stands in the corner for most of the movie until the very end when he's the only one left and he has to take on the Deadites. And you think he's gonna die, right? And, well, he doesn't. He makes it out. Until the cliffhanger. Me as a fucking kid, seeing that terrified the hell out of me. It's one of the things that I parodied when I was doing the Evil Dead remake review, which also isn't that bad of a movie, to be honest with you. But that's not the movie we're talking about. The Evil Dead, which came out in 1982, directed by Sam Raimi, is a phenomenal underground indie movie. It is everything that shows passion for filmmaking. When you give the money to the right people, the right kind of guys who know what they're doing and love what they're doing, The Evil Dead is one of the best examples of a movie that shows passion. And for it, The Evil Dead does get I was about to say a 10 out of 10. I do have one problem though, and it is that rape scene. That rape scene does go a little bit too far because it's rape. I'm sorry. Rape is one of the few things where I'm like, nah, I surpass it. Even Sam Raimi himself regrets doing that scene. So, no, screw it. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. 5 years later, and New Line Cinema refused to give the rights to the movie to the people that made it. So therefore, the first 15 minutes of Evil Dead 2 are a quote-unquote redoing or rehash or remake of the first one. Anyways, after those first 10-15 minutes, it picks right off where the first one left off. And that is Ash being swarmed by the demon at the end of the movie. And he goes ahead and he's getting pushed through the fucking woods. He's spinning and shit, slams up against a tree, falls down in a puddle, and becomes a Deadite himself. What the fuck? Well, that was a short ass movie. Alright, The Evil Dead 2 gets a 4 out of 10. Oh shit, he's not a Deadite anymore. Okay, I see what you're trying to do. But it follows Ash from there on out, and how he has to deal with the cabin, and how people are coming back to the cabin because obviously somebody owns the fucking place. So these people that own the cabin come back after all this time. This group comes back and they're going there to discover basically what their father had found. And that's when it all begins. They all attack Ash and throw him into the cellar, and with the demon that's in the cellar, all the demons start to come out. And it is one hell of a gory, fun ride. This is the movie that introduces the comedy aspect into the series, especially when Ash has to deal with his fucking hand, man. I'm telling you, Bruce Campbell can do some good physical comedy. He smashes plates on his fucking face. He's doing flips over himself and everything. He's cutting off his hand and he's just like, who's laughing now? It's a great display of fucking body horror and humor. This is one of the most darkly comedic movies I think I've seen in a long time, because it is incredibly funny but yet disturbing. Having to cut off your own hand because it's possessed and everything, but then the hand fucking flips you off. I'm sorry, it's fucking funny. Especially when Ash starts to lose his mind and everything starts to, fucking lose itself inside of the house, starts laughing at him, and he does a dance competition with a fucking lamp. It is funny. This movie is beyond fucking funny. At the same time, it is very horrifying and it's very gory at times. There are just some legitimately disturbing moments, especially when Ash is trapped in the cellar and he has to deal with the demon that is in that cellar. There's like this audio play that says, "Oh God, forgive me, I buried her in the fruit cellar underneath the house." And then all of a sudden the demon pops up. But just as I said, the comedy reigns true, because in this scene, right when the demon pops up, Ash screams at the top of his fucking lungs. I fucking love this shit, man. I fucking love it, man. I fucking love Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is easily top 15, top 20 horror movies for me. It is a fun ride the whole way through, and I gotta be honest, man, Evil Dead 2, I don't have a single problem with it. Evil Dead 2 does get a 10 out of 10. Now, moving on to the complete comedy fuckfest that just so happens to be Army of Darkness. I actually think this movie's a little underrated. I know a lot of people that, really like this movie. I know a lot of people that just, they're like, yeah, it's okay, but I wanted to see some more gore and shit, and I wanted it to be more scary. And I'm like, I know what they were trying to do, and I think it works. Army of Darkness follows the cliffhanger left off by Evil Dead 2, where Ash is sent back to fucking the 1300s medieval times, and he's left there to help defend all the knights from the Deadites, the Army of the Dead. Army of Darkness. And after Ash, being this fucking dumbass that he is, trying to go back to his present time and failing to do the ritual that in order for you to gain safe passage to using the book, when he takes the book from the cemetery, he raises the dead. And yeah, It's from there on out, it's just, from there on out, it's a big battle, but throughout the whole movie, it's a whole bunch of like wacky scenarios and shit. It's a great movie. Army of Darkness just so happens to be, honestly, this is surprising. Like right now thinking about it, and I know a lot of people are very different from me. Most people say that Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead 1 are on par with each other, and Army of Darkness is slightly below, or if not really low, compared to them. And this is where things go different for me. My least favorite in the series just so happens to be The Evil Dead, the first one. And that's just because The Evil Dead didn't really understand what it was trying to be. And it ended up becoming, you know, what it is now. And right now what it is a tongue-in-cheek horror comedy with some legitimately good, scary moments, but is often very funny too. But with the comedy level put to max, the entertainment value for Army of Darkness is through the roof for me. And sitting at only an hour and 15 minutes, I can watch this movie no problem any day. That's why I got it as a poster. So, because of it, I'm gonna go ahead and give Army of Darkness a 9 out of 10. Well, guys, there you go. I mean, that's Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, The Evil Dead. That's the entire Evil Dead trilogy. And I gotta be honest, I love these movies to no end. These movies are some of my favorite movies in the horror movie subgenre, horror movie genre, just in general. I love these movies, and there will never be a day where I sit down and say, I actually dislike these movies. There's no way in hell. These movies are too fun, they're too passionate, and everybody gave a shit about what the hell they were making, and they ended up making really entertaining and fun movies. I love Sam Raimi, I love Bruce Campbell as Ash, I love the gore, I love the laughs, I love these movies, and I recommend that all of you guys go ahead and check them out. And that's it for today. My name is Brendan Reviews, and I hope you guys have a great day, evening, night, whatever the fuck time you guys are watching this. I'll see you guys next time.